powers and exponents, which is 8th grade math, page 19 in your book. So we go through some vocabulary. So your notes for this, you ready to, some vocabulary written down. First off, we have, I guess it's a little, board's off again, sorry. We go through right here, here's our, oops, that's supposed to be the line for our 2-column notes. We have power, the power, I guess the best way to, let's do this with an example. Let's like go 3 to the 5th. Okay, the power is this right here, okay, the 5. The product is, basically the power is this whole thing, 3 to the 5th power. We're taking 3 to the 5th power. It tells us, this tells us how many times 3 is going to multiply times itself. So the 5 actually is the exponent. The 3 is the base. Okay, so the exponent tells how many times the base multiplies times itself. Or in other words, how many factors of the base there are. So this means 5 means the power, or the base, sorry, the exponent, well, means that we do the 3 5 times. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 5 times. And then you would multiply that out to find the answer. So let's incorporate this into some problems. Reading powers. So we have the power. This is 4. One way to say it is 4 to the 2nd power. It means, repeated multiplication means you have 2 factors of 4. That's what the exponent means, 4 times 4. And the description in words is 4 to the 2nd power, or 4 squared. Whenever there's a 2, we can say squared. This one means 9 times 9 times 9. There's 3 factors of 9. That's 9 to the 3rd power, or 9 cubed. Y to the 5th, even in algebra, there's the numbers. Now we'll do it with letters. That just means y times y times y times y times y. Notice there's 5 y's, and we just say y to the 5th power. And after you get past the 2nd and power and the 3rd power, there's not any fancy. You just say to the 5th, to the 6th, to the 7th power, whatever it may be. So example number 2 has us evaluate 5 cubed. Now evaluate means find the answer. So 5 cubed, remember before, cubed means 3, so 5 cubed. So that means there's 3 factors of 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. And sometimes, you know, when you have exponential numbers, the answers can get big really fast. Comes out to be 125. Write the product as a power. So the power, remember, it has a base and it has an exponent. The base is the number that's repeated. So 7 happens how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 7 to the 6th power. That's all we have to do. We don't have to multiply that out. It didn't ask us to evaluate it. 7 to the 6th. So this one, how many 10s are there? It's 10 to the 4th power. Just like that. W, same thing with the letters. How many W's are there? 2 of them. So W to the 2nd power. So no big deal, just letters. No, doesn't matter. Describe the power in words, then evaluate. So in words, you would say this one is 6 to the 3rd power, or you can say 6 cubed. And evaluate it would mean 6 times 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6, I don't have that one memorized, is 216. So let's see if I get that one right. 6 cubed. 6 times 6 times 6, which is 216. Very good. This would have to be in words. 2 to the 5th power. And that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Let's see if I did that right. Sometimes I get carried away and get too many 2's in there. And I just write it out. And 32. This is 13 squared. Or you can say to the second power, which is 13 times 13, which is 169. Describe the power on words and then evaluate. So we're still doing more of those. That's 3 to the first power. And that 1 tells us there's 1, 3. So it's just 3. So anytime it's to the first power, that's that problem, that answer. All right, example 3, using a power. So we have the stone falls over the edge of the cliff next to a waterfall. The stone hits the water 5 seconds later. How tall is the cliff? To find the height of the cliff, use the expression 16 times t squared, the distance in feet that an object falls in t seconds after it begins to fall. So that they give us this is important, 16 times t squared. T is in t seconds after it begins to fall, so it's going to hit the water 5 seconds later. So we're going to substitute in a 5 right there. So we're going to go 16 times 5 squared. And if you look on the top of page 20, it reviews order of operations, and it adds in there, if you remember when I was doing that back in 1.2, I think it was, they didn't have evaluate powers. But evaluating powers comes right after parentheses and before multiplying and dividing. So you go ahead and do this. So you do 5 squared, which is 25, and you take 16 times 25. So 16 times 25, so that's 30, 5 times 1, that's 8, add a placeholder, 1, that would be a 3. That would be 400. So how tall is the cliff? We're dealing in feet. So the cliff would be 400 feet tall. Let's see what happens there for us. Plus 25 and multiply. Can you see those numbers under there? It comes out to be 400. So the height of the cliff is 400 feet. So example 4, using order of operations again. We go through and we just start diving in what we're supposed to do. We do parentheses first. So we're going to do 6 minus 4 first, which is 2. And that then is 2 to the third plus 3 minus 2 to the second. Now if you look at the top of page 20, it says then to evaluate the powers. So 2 to the third means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, plus 3 minus 2 squared, which is 4. That means 2 times 2. Now we only have addition and subtraction, so we go in order from left to right. 11 minus 4, which is 7. You have to do the order. It's very easy to get out of order, and then you find out that you missed the problem when you get out of order. So you have to be really careful. There's our answer. Okay, this one they throw a few decimals at us. No big deal. We'll just figure it out. Keep on going. So we go 7 plus, we do parentheses first, so we do 7 plus 1 right here. It's 8 squared divided by 4 squared times 3.3. We'll worry about that when we get to it. So 8 squared, we got to do the exponents. That's 64 divided by 4 squared, which is 16, and 3.3 times 64. And we have to do order of operations. There's no more parentheses, so we have to multiply before we can add. So we have to multiply these two numbers, which is 3.3 times 64. And that's not the funnest multiplying, but we'll do it. That's 12, carry the 1, that's 13. So 200, and we put in the 1 decimal place, 211.2. Then we have to divide it by 16. That's really not fun. But you can either complain about it or just do it. So 16 goes into 21 once, which is 16. That's 5, 51. 16 goes in there 3 times, which is 48. That's 3. Bring down the 2. Bring up this decimal. It goes in there twice. It goes in there evenly. 13.2. Well, I'll be darned. Let's see if we got that right. 13.2. Remember that. I'm going to erase the ink and we'll see what I got. We got the 64. We got the, oh, they didn't show the work. Oh, those cheaters. See, they got out of showing the work. All right, number 8, the guided practice. For this, we do the parentheses first, which is right here. 5 minus 2 is 3. That's to the third, minus 7 plus 4 to the third. 3 to the third means 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 3, or excuse me, 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. Minus 7 plus 4 to the third. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. So we just go in order since it's addition and subtraction. So 20 plus 64 is 84. Just make sure you don't get out of order. So they did that. We'll see if our final answer is the same. Yes, look. Okay, number 9. We do parentheses, which is right here. That's 6 squared minus 2 to the 4th, 12.3 plus. So we do 6 squared, which is 36, minus 2 to the 4th. So that's 4, that's 8, that's 16. So we know we have to add in order, so we got to do 36 plus 12.3 is 48.3, because you got to line the 36 up, excuse me, under the 12. And then minus 16, we'll write the 16 underneath, because we got to add the, notice I'm lining up place values. 32.3. See what happens. 32.3. Okay, number 10, evaluate the expression again. Look, they're getting more complicated. So I'm going to go in here. This is going to be a 1 to the 4th. And I can do that all day. That's easy. 24 plus 7 to the 3rd. 7 times 7 times 7. That's 49. 49 to that's 63. That's 28. 3,343 plus 24 divided by 1 to the 4th is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. Remember, 1 to any power is 1. So that's just going to be 343 plus 24 divided by 1. Do that first, which is 24. And you add 343. I get 763. 367. Ooh, those numbers are getting big, aren't they? Looks good. Okay, the guided practice, last one. What if, suppose the falling stone in example 3 took 8 seconds to hit the water. Evaluate the expression to find the height of the cliff. Well, if you remember, if you want to look back on example 3, they gave us 16 t squared, and t is the number of seconds. So here it's 8. So we're going to put an 8 in right there. So 16 times 8 squared. 8 squared is 64 times 16. So 64 times 16. That's going to be a 4. Carry the 2. 36 plus 2 is 38. It's a 4 and a 6. So that's a 4. That's 12. Carry the 1. And it is in feet, if I remember right, from the last one. So substitute them in, you do the multiplying, and it takes work, but you know what? Just do it. Just go through the process, go through the steps, get the answer. 1,024 feet. Good deal. All right, that'll do it for 1.4, have fun multiplying and order of operations, all that good stuff. Bye.